Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Daryl Amy.
Hey there, everyone. This is Larry. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for the incredible support you've shown since Selling in a Post-Trust World book launched earlier in August. Thanks to you, Selling in a Post-Trust World is making waves and helping sales professionals everywhere build authentic relationships. If you haven't grabbed your copy yet, head over to barnesandnoble.com and order yours today. And here's a special thank you. When you leave a review of the book, we'll give you instant access to our exclusive Selling in a Post-Trust World private podcast. This 12-episode series dives deeper into each chapter, offering actionable insights to elevate your sales game. Don't miss out. Order your copy, leave a review, and unlock exclusive content designed to help you sell from the heart. For more details, go to sellinginapostrustworld.com. Thank you. Thank you for being part of this movement. Together, we're transforming the world of sales, one authentic relationship at a time.
Hello, and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Daryl Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Hey, great seeing you. What isn't going on? I heard Liz Wendling's in the house. We are in for one terrific treat today, Daryl Amy.
Get ready. We're going to have a great time. And Larry, this is always a great time here at Selling from the Heart. The fall is in motion, sailing. Everyone's cheering each other on as we head deep into the fourth quarter. And our commitment to you here at Selling from the Heart is to keep you fired up, keep you inspired, keep you motivated. Whatever you need to finish strong this year, tune into Selling from the Heart. Our goal is to inspire.
Yeah, I was just, hey, Daryl, I was just wondering, how come you didn't do the alliteration thing? I thought you would at least come up with all the letters just coinciding. What's the deal?
I'm working on things, Larry. This is part of doing the deep work we talk about all the time. Hey, by the way, if you're new to the Selling from the Heart podcast, welcome. We're so glad you joined us. You've joined a growing community of sales professionals that are dedicated to being genuine, being authentic, building value. We call it Selling from the Heart. And Larry, the community of people all over the world in Selling from the Heart is one of the best things that's come out of this show. And I love the interactions we get to have with our friends.
Yeah, just a quick special shout out before I bring on Liz is I just want to give a really special thank you to a dear friend of mine, Andrew Reese. You're awesome. You waved the flag around Selling from the Heart and now Selling in a Post-Trust World. I appreciate you. If it's not for you, I don't get into a certain channel. You know that. So thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it.
Love it. Love it. And as you say all the time, it's your network that is your net worth. And this network of people all over the world that are dedicated to Selling from the Heart, just amazing. And one of those people is Liz Wendling. We're so glad to have Liz back. If you haven't met Liz before, you're going to love this today. She's a renowned sales and business development consultant and president of Insight Business Consultant. She specializes in revolutionizing sales for modern professionals, helping them connect more authentically and effectively with their clients. Liz is the author of some of our favorite books, Authentic Selling and Sell Without Selling Your Soul, where she dives deep into the art of genuine communication and trust building in sales relationships. She's known for her straightforward, no-nonsense style, and her approach goes beyond traditional selling by fostering lasting connections with our clients. Liz is an accomplished speaker, celebrated for her practical insights and actionable advice that propel real results in today's competitive market. And she is here again with us at Selling from the Heart. Liz, welcome back. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. 3 times.
A three-peater. Liz Wendling's a three-peater, Daryl.
Yes.
This is going to be a fun and provocative conversation. And as we kick it off, you know the question now that every guest in the Selling from the Heart podcast answers. Liz, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
Selling from the heart means building trust, creating connection, and making a difference. Whether it leads to a sale or not, It's being able to do that and do that on a consistent basis. And it's really about caring for people, really caring for other human beings and not putting your needs first and helping people get what they need.
Oh, I love this because we wrap all of that up in Selling from the Heart, Liz, and just simply say we just give a rip. And when you give a rip about people, which is the G-rated version, and you can all think about all the other words, but that's the G-rated version. But as we start this off, I just got to flip this around. And the question is why do you think, I'm not going to say all, but why do you think so many in sales struggle with what you just said?
I think they spend a lot of time up in their mind and they make it all about themselves.
Yeah.
And they say things like, I don't want to be this. I don't like to do this. I'm not good at that. Instead of flipping that around and saying, all right, if I'm not good at it, how do I get good at it? So I can stop thinking about that. All that head trash is not going to help you connect and be chosen as the best choice when it comes to closing a sale. Get out of their head. It's about not making it about yourself and catching yourself when you do.
Oh, that's so true. And getting out of the head, the conversations, if it were written down or recorded and played back, the conversations that go on in so many of our heads, and maybe that would be a good thing if it was all just spelled out because we could see it for what it really is.
Right.
The stories we tell ourselves are really, really harmful to sales results and a lot of other things. So
right.
what do you do? What's your advice in terms of identifying and flipping the script on some of those stories?
Well, I always listen to what people are saying. So if they're saying things like, I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to be pushy, or I don't want to come across self-serving, or any words where they're declaring what they don't want to be, then I know right there is where I need to start. Okay, you don't want to be that. Well, then how do you ensure you're not being that? How do we create something different? Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? Let's make that your mantra instead of, I don't want to be salesy. Okay, well, declare what you want to be and let's go ahead and make that a possibility.
And you know what? And you know what I like, and what I love about you, Liz. There's a lot of things I love about Liz Wendling, but one of the really big things I love about Liz is she throws it out there like none other on LinkedIn when it comes to just throwing the dart right at the bullseye and hitting it. And I want to go back to this salesy comment you had just made because you've been pretty voicious around this lately, around us. Come on, right? Let's not dance around the word selling and calling it all these other things.
Right.
You're in sales. The objective of sales is to sell something. So unpack some of this because I love scrolling through my LinkedIn newsfeed and seeing stuff from Liz Wendling.
Well, everything you just said, it's like, I got to hit the bullseye because this is what people say to give themselves permission to not know how to sell well. So they say, I don't want to be salesy. Well, good. Nobody else wants you to be that either. So knock it off. But what they do is they throw out these bombs and they think that, oh, just because I declare it, now I don't have to do it. So they give themselves permission to suck at it, to not close sales, to not make great connections, and to not increase their bottom line. So they're literally putting the brakes on their own business because of what they don't want to be, or they think selling is wrong. There's something wrong with it when everybody on the planet buys something and is selling something.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I want to go back to this thing about, we talk a lot about what we don't want to be as salespeople. This exercise of saying, this is what I want to be as a salesperson. Let's think about this together. What are some things that as our audience is listening in, and this, by the way, for the audience, this is a writer downer moment, as Larry likes to say. This list of what do I want to be known for as a sales professional, I think is a very, very powerful place to start to replace some of these negatives. So Liz, you go first, and then I'm going to throw it to Larry. What would you put on that list if you were making that list for yourself? I want to be known as ...
I hear, I want to be known as someone I can follow. I want to be known as someone who tells the truth. I want to be known for my ability to be direct with people. I want to show up as confident. I want people to see that I'm on their side. I want people to know that when you talk to me, you're going to get the truth. And if I'm not the right person for them, then I'll pass them on to someone who would.
Boom. Okay,
Okay,
Larry,
my
how do you
turn?
add to that?
No, I'll add a couple things, but what Liz said, because it had a lot of what Liz said, we unpack in the inspirational experience section of Selling in a Post-Trust World. And that is how you show up, which I believe you're responsible for as a sales professional. So I'll just layer in some more as I want to be known as someone who actively listens. I want to be known as somebody who helps and truly helps. I want to be known as someone who's genuine, who cares, who gives a rip, who loves what I do and loves my customers.
And I want to be known as someone who adds value and truly makes a difference with what I'm doing. And I want to be known as somebody who genuinely cares about the people that I work with. And this is great. And I want to challenge everybody listening in. If you're driving, well, you probably need to pull over, but this is a great moment to pause and really make this list right now on your notes app or jot it down in your journal, because I think what you're onto here, Liz, with this, I don't want to be known as ... is really, really not helpful in the positive side. Now, what I think is really cool, and I love having this conversation with Liz, is when we are hesitant, when we're I don't want to be known as the pushy one, then this starts to bleed through in how we communicate on
Bingo.
things like email messages and voicemails. Okay, here we go. We just set Liz in motion. What does this do to our communication style when we live from the I don't want to be?
Oh, it destroys it. And so, first of all, I do want to say that just because you acknowledge you don't want to be something doesn't mean you're not showing up that way. So I talk to people all the time and they'll say, well, I don't want to be one of those pushy salespeople. Yet they say things like, well, I would love to get on your calendar. I'd love to find a time to meet with you. I'd love to get together with you. So they're saying they don't want to be salesy or pushy or self-serving. And then they say something stupid like that.
All right.
It's all about them. It's all self-serving and it's totally salesy.
Okay, Liz. I got to throw this out there. You know, we love the L word in selling from the heart. So how does somebody, right? I'll throw you on the spot, Liz Wendling. I know you can handle it. Yep. But how does somebody who's a selling from the heart professional who aligns to the message, how do they incorporate the L word in there so it doesn't sound and look like what you just described?
Well, I love love too, but I keep love where I just take it out of where it doesn't belong. So there's nothing wrong with the word love. It's how people are using that word that makes it wrong, makes it not land well on another person. If someone said to me, oh, Liz, I would love it if you got up at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning and take me to the airport. I don't feel like driving. Well, that's telling me what you want me to do. So it's more of a command and a demand, not a request. So whenever someone says, I would love to get on your calendar, or I'd love to find out more about you, I'd love to set up a time to meet with you, what the other person thinks is, of course you would. You're trying to sell me something.
Right.
So everything they're doing that I don't want to be this is showing up blatantly as that. So that's why you can't just declare it. You've got to change your language and the way that you're showing up.
Okay, so let's keep going here. What are some other buzzwords, phrases that show up in the mind of I don't want to be sales professional?
Okay, so one of my favorites is where salespeople want to show up as confident and they want people to like them, but yet they use minimizer message that decreases their credibility. And they put themselves in this lower status. They're no longer equal with that person. The language they're using is dropping them down. And they say things like, I know you get a lot of calls, so I'll be brief. I know you have a lot going on, so I don't want to keep bothering you. I know you're busy, so I won't waste your time, which just wasted my time. I know you weren't expecting my call. I'll get to the point. Sorry, I know you're busy. I know your plate is full. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Excuse my persistence. Sorry to trouble you. And I mean, I could just go on and on. And you're apologizing for doing your job, for being you. But many people use this because of what's going on up in their head. I don't want to bother someone because selling is so bad. So what I'll do is I'll diminish my whole being, all to make them feel good and piss them off, but make me feel good.
I want to continue playing on this, and let's flip this around, Liz. Sure. Is not now that we're talking about, we're having some good times, we're having some laughter, because let's just face it, over the course of our tenure, we've probably all used these. So let's just get that one out on the table. How do we flip this around? So coach us through how somebody who's just aligned I'm guilty, I've done this before. How can we work to remove these, and what do we really replace those with that helps us sound like we're that professional who wants to help, who cares, who's confident, who's delivering something with conviction? Walk us through that.
Great question, with the easiest answer that anybody can start doing in 5 seconds. And that's leave that crap out. You don't need it. You don't need to diminish yourself. Get to the point. Get to the meat of your message. Tell people why you're interacting with them. If everyone on the planet is saying, sorry to bother you, I hate to be a pest, you're just thrown in the box with all the other pests. Why not say something or do something or be something that sounds and looks and feels completely different? So if you are tapping out an email, go ahead and tap out, I hope I'm not bothering you, and then erase it, and then start your message from there. You don't need the fluff. You don't need the BS. You don't need the minimizer statements.
Wow.
That's going to be hard for people, though.
No, it is.
I want to be nice.
Well, and I learned, one of the things I've learned from just hanging out with Larry over the last couple of years is I watch Larry, and he barely ever uses the word I in his messages. Even if it creates a little bit of grammatical messiness.
Yep.
If there's a way to cut the word I out of the sentence, and while you're at it, the word just, so is a total diminishing one. If there's a way to cut the word I out of a sentence, that's been something I've found to be extremely effective in doing that. I catch it all the time. I think there's probably that every message that goes, you need to create Liz GPT that you can put your message in. And it would rewrite it for you.
Did you? Yeah.
Well, I did a post on how ChatGPT is telling people to say, I
saw that.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah. I hope this email finds you. Here's another one, Liz Wendling. I hope this email finds you well.
Yes, that too. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope all is well. But I do want to just stress, when you say something like, I hope you had a good weekend, you better know me if you're going to drop that. Don't use that line if I'm a complete stranger, because as a complete stranger, I know you don't give a crap if I had a good weekend. Don't put it in there. If you don't know someone, don't use this stuff. It just doesn't work.
You know what's I'm having flashbacks. I'm having massive flashbacks to like when I was back in the copier channel, but there's a point behind this. And it goes back to a couple of things that you've been alluding to. Is I remember when I'd walk into the VP of sales office, and I would dance around and I'd dance around and I'd dance around. And about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes later, the person said, Larry, can you just get to the point? Right. And there's a reason why I'm saying this is, think about when you're sending that email, it's to a key decision maker or influencer, somebody who can say yes or massively sway the decision. Be clear, be concise, deliver it with conviction, and be really brief, because they're probably skimming this message on their phone.
You wasted
Absolutely.
the first 3 lines of the
Yeah.
message on their iPhone asking about the weekend that you don't care about, and they
That's right.
deleted your message.
That's right.
Crazy.
And if you can't get someone's attention, you're never going to get their business. So why would you say things that everyone else says and be put in that same box or deleted before you even get a chance to get someone's attention? So you won't get their business if you use this stuff. And it's a matter of massaging your message in such a way where it feels like you're emailing to someone, not at someone. Your message is to me, not at me, where it sounds like every other person on the planet. And when people say, I just don't know why no one gets back to me. I send email after email and no one gets back to me. And all I have to do is say, send me those emails and I'll tell you why. And I do a dissection and an autopsy on it. And it's because it sounds like everyone else. There's nothing in there that grabs my attention and says, you're someone I want to talk to.
We talk a lot at Selling from the Heart about equal business stature and going in, especially for our friends that are calling on executives.
Yeah.
And all of that. We want to have equal business stature. And I think what you're talking about here is a guide to how to get that equal business stature and how to destroy it right off the bat before you even start. So what are some other tips and tricks along this line that would be helpful to our listeners, Liz?
All right, let's go for it. Let's go right for the F word. Follow up. Woo! How many times a day do you get a message that says, I'm just following up, touching base, reaching out, or checking in?
Oh.
Sometimes people adore those words so much, they put it in the subject line, which further makes someone want to delete your message. Because those words, I'm just following up, touching base, reaching out, and checking in. First of all, the whole world is using them. But what's behind that is, hey, buddy, I need you to do something. I'm following up because you need to buy something from me. There's that force behind that message that people don't realize how it's received. So I'm just following up means you need to do something. You need to get back to me. You need to make a decision. You need to look at that proposal. There's too much force behind it. And it actually makes someone not get back to you. And then what do you have to do? Send another email that says, hey, I haven't heard from you. So I thought I would follow up again. And I've wanted to touch base. I sent you 7 messages and I haven't heard back from you. So all you're doing is pushing that potential client farther and farther away from you by language that sets you up to fail.
Hey, you know what else this also shines the light on? At least this is my belief in this, is it shines the light that salespeople out there can do a whole lot better when it comes to their business conversational skills. Because if you're trying to capture the attention of these executives, then use language that's going to catch their attention, which is business centric.
Yes.
Not gimmicky centric.
Right.
That's why I'm just a massive believer, right? Act like a sales professional. Do the things that professionals will do.
Yes.
Walk, talk, and act like that executive. Communicate like them. But I think that's where a lot of people struggle with.
Well, and also too, Larry, it's because if everyone else is doing it, that must be the way to do it. Yeah. And just because something is popular doesn't mean it works.
Yeah.
And it clearly, and that's why I started my sales messaging clinic, because too many people were saying nobody's getting back to me. But there's such an easy fix to it. And it's just adjusting the way that how you want to show up and the words. How do you want those words to land on someone? And it's all based on your style, your personality, and how you talk to people, because that's what people appreciate. They don't want to hear the stuff that everyone else is using, because when you sound like everyone else and look like everyone else, then you're going to get the same thing as everyone else. And that's ignored.
It's the empty suit. Empty suit. And that's where, if we think together about the alternatives, because you do have to follow up, but how do we do that in a way that adds value? How do we do that in a way that's useful? Let's have another brainstorm round here. How would we approach? We got to follow up. We do need to follow up with somebody. that's what we need to do. How can we go about doing that in a way that adds value? Let's think about that together, Liz.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with following up with someone. You have to do that to stay in touch and keep the communication lines going. So there's nothing wrong with follow up, but there's something terribly wrong with follow up that says, I have no respect for you or your inbox. And that's the kind of follow-up I just thought I sent you a proposal. I wanted to know if you had any questions. So I'm just following up. That is disrespectful to my inbox to think that I don't know that I could ask you a question. Come on. We have to do better than this. This is ridiculous. So yes, we have to follow up, but we don't have to follow up the old school way that just pushes people away. So there's advice out there right now, and then I'm not saying it's wrong, it's just a little outdated, that says, don't leave a meeting until you have another meeting. Don't leave a meeting until you get something scheduled on the calendar. I'm not saying that's wrong. Maybe we should. However, I like to teach people how to have a conversation about our follow-up, about the way we're going to stay in touch. So I might say to someone, hey, Charlie, I know you and I are going to get back to our offices a little later on today, and I know I promised to get some material to you, but how would you like to continue our conversation? How would you like me to communicate with you? What's the best way for you and I to keep our conversation going without me abusing your inbox? So I let them tell me exactly what they want, and then I honor that. So I'd say, talk about the F word in the meeting. How would you like, but without using the F word, how would you like us to stay in communication? Who's getting in touch with who next? Do you want me to call you? Do you want to put it on your calendar to get back to me? Let's talk about how we respect each other before I disrespect your inbox. And anytime I teach this, people say, oh my gosh, that's so refreshing. That makes so much more sense. And every time I use it, I can tell from the person I'm speaking to that they appreciate it, that I'm someone who isn't going to waste their time, who is going to tell them the truth.
That's how you get remembered, Liz Wendling.
That's how you do it. And it's so simple. It's so easy. It's to stop doing the crap that doesn't work anymore and now try something different. So I challenge people for the next 2 weeks, talk to your potential clients about, what does staying in touch look like? How do you like to be communicated with? Ask them. Let them tell you. Don't you say, I'll follow up with you, because that right away puts you in a less than position.
Hey, by the way, this is where I think you got to crawl out of your head on this, because I have no issue asking somebody that question. But I think what happens is we got to detach. I think as salespeople, we got to detach from this and say, you know what? I probably know what this person's going to say. No, you don't.
That's right.
Just ask them. If you ask them in the way that Liz has been guiding us, they will actually tell you. And I think you'll get pushed to the front of the line in how you're remembered.
100%. Because you sound different, you appear different, the words are landing different on your potential client. You don't look like the last 4 professionals that they spoke to that all sound the same. And when you sound the same, the worst thing is you will be chosen on price. It will become a default to the cheapest person because you all looked alike.
Yep.
Simple, powerful, practical. Ladies and gentlemen, Liz Wendling, always awesome. I know everybody is thinking, how do I get more Liz Wendling in my life?
Oh, you can get that LinkedIn for sure. And even Amazon. I have my books on Amazon, but even my website, lizwendling.com. I have lots of videos and webinars on there to help you pick apart the language that is keeping clients away from you. Pick apart what you're doing, what you're saying, and how you're showing up, and take a look at it in a way where you can start figuring out, how can I change this? So I don't ever have to declare, I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to be pushy, and I don't want to be aggressive, because no one wants that anyway. But you do have to declare what you do want. So poke around my website and LinkedIn. It's all filled with this information we talked about today.
Oh, hey, Daryl, you know what I'm declaring?
What's that, Larry?
I'm a Liz Wendling fan. That's what I'm declaring.
Liz, you're a true Selling from the Heart champion. It's so great to hang out with you today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on for the three-peat. I appreciate it.
Bye, Liz.
Larry, what a great conversation. After that conversation, it just leads me to say, I really want to follow up with you on what we could do.
Yeah, by the way, that let's just touch base. I'll check in with you, Daryl. After the podcast, can you and I just check in? I'll just check in with you afterwards.
The stuff we say is so comical, but I want to go back to the beginning of that conversation where Liz was talking about, we hear it all the time, especially at Selling from the Heart. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be like every other salesperson. Okay. But that list of what you do want to be like is powerful. And I think we tapped into something extremely, extremely useful there. And I challenge everybody listening in to, if you didn't start that list right now and go back and create the vision for who you want to be as a sales professional.
Yeah. And it just goes back to how you want to show up. And I just want to play on this for a second. It's how you want to show up face to face. It's how you want to show up in someone's email. It's how you want to show up on social. There's all different ways that we're showing up in the words that we're using.
Yeah.
Just going to ask everyone, we must start paying attention to the words we use, because the words we use is either going to connect to somebody or rapidly disconnect from somebody.
I love it. Well, thank you to Liz. Thank you.
Hey, by the way, Daryl, did you know you just used the L word?
I did use the L word and I used it appropriately, Larry. But you know what else I would love? I would love if you would leave a review on this podcast. It would actually means a ton to us, because what that does is it helps us spread this movement of authenticity and trust right here in this profession of sales that we all love. And also make sure to like or subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. We've got incredible guests coming up throughout the fall and winter, and you don't want to miss an episode.
Hey, I just want to say thank you. I'm super grateful for you all waving the flag around this. It's been one heck of a journey in bringing Selling from the Heart to the forefront and wrapping it with selling in a post-trust world. I thank you. Continue to just be the sales professionals I know you are. Wave the flag. We appreciate you.
Till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Stop just following up. And most of all,
Sell from the heart.